Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Look, Malcolm, I like that little sly grin that you got there. He says, I may be the killer or may not. Happy Monday. Today is August 18th, year of our Lord 2025, and welcome to another rip-roaring episode of Greg and Malcolm Presents M3, 3 p.m. here in the East, 12 noon out West. Indeed.
Yeah.
I am so excited to be here today, Malcolm.
Yeah. We have been doing mostly the news on Mondays, but I am changing it up today a little bit. I got a few news stories, but a lot more like funny stuff. And they're also in the news, but funny news stuff. But I will cover some of the major topics. And I'm going to get through all the like major headlines, and then we'll get into some other stuff. But one of the things I was thinking about, Greg, because you can just talk it out loud while we're on air.
Yes.
I love alliteration. Obviously, Male Media Mind is, alliterative. Mondays could also be a mail segment. I was thinking about that. I used to have the sus box.
Oh, you go back in that thing? No way. No, so I tell you what. That's funny that you said that, Malcolm.
Mailbag Mondays,
Mailbag Mondays. There you go. So funny that you said that, because I will be having a person on Saturday that does a whole podcast about relationships over 40 and 50. So so what we'll do is we'll dig into my sus box every Monday, and we'll call it Mailbag Monday. I'm so excited. Yeah, so continue.
Awesome. Yeah, send us the questions.
So continue to send me your shit-tastic life problems, and I'll help you. I'll help you sort it out, as I'll help you sort out mine. So but speaking of news, I just want you guys. I started a new segment today on Beyonce's internet called Male Media Mind Minute. So look for me. I am just delivering, I think it's 3 short stories. I'm talking about Zelensky going to the White House, the Democrats returning back to Texas, and Hurricane Aaron hitting the East Coast board at full speed. So those real quick, it was a minute and 5 seconds. So we'll be delivering you that every day.
And I will grab it and put it on our socials as well on Male Media Mind.
Fantastic. And then also in that 1 minute, I remind you what show is coming up for that day, and what do you have to look forward to on Male Media Mind? Because just a quick reminder, we are a whole ass network. We got tons and tons of shows: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, not Friday. Thursday, Saturday. We're working on Friday. So, but as Monday, like Sherelle, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Anyway, so we're here all week long, not just today and not just Malcolm and not just me. So, you have tomorrow you have Swag at 7 p.m., Malcolm at 7 p.m. My man, Cream Diggler at the Diggler Digest, 7 p.m. on Thursdays. And then give you a day off. You can join me Saturday afternoons for the Saturday Sit Down, 1 p.m. Now, Malcolm does take his sweet time on Sundays and Monday mornings to dig through the world and bring us all of these things.
So first, I think I'm going to give you like a water hose. It's about 3 minutes of news from NPR, and instead of stopping after each story, I'm just going to play it all, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Less than 3 minutes. All right, here we go.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky won't be alone when he meets President Trump today at the White House. Several European leaders will join Zelensky to find out what's in Trump's proposal for advancing a peace deal with Russia. Terry Schultz reports.
The president of the European Commission and the Secretary General of NATO, along with the leaders of Britain, Finland, France, Germany, and Italy, will be joining President Zelensky in Washington.
The former head of Israeli military intelligence says that the high death toll in Gaza is necessary. He says it's to send a message to Palestinians after Hamas's October 2023 attack. NPR's Daniel Estrin reports from Tel Aviv.
Aharon Haliva resigned from the military last year. Israeli TV aired leaked audio recordings where he discusses intelligence failures that led to the October 2023 attack. He said the death toll of tens of thousands killed in Gaza was necessary. He said for every Israeli killed on October 7th, quote, 50 Palestinians must die. I am not speaking out of revenge. I am speaking about a message to the next generations. He said Palestinians periodically needed a Nakba, the term that refers to the permanent displacement of Palestinians during Israel's founding in 1948.
President Trump's militarization of Washington, D.C. is entering its second week with more National Guard troops on the way. Community leaders in the nation's capital say they're trying to maintain calm. NPR's Brian Mann reports.
Hundreds more soldiers from Ohio, South Carolina, and West Virginia are joining the National Guard deployment here to support what Trump describes as an effort to crack down on crime. In a public letter, Mayor Muriel Bowser called the situation a crisis and said residents are facing waves of anxiety as soldiers and masked federal agents patrol the city.
President Trump says he wants to entirely end the use of mail-in ballots and certain voting machines. Writing today online, Trump falsely claimed they're involved in voter fraud. There is no evidence of any significant voting fraud with these methods. Trump also falsely claimed that in matters of voting, all states have to do what the federal government, through the President of the United States, tells them to do. In fact, state and local jurisdictions are responsible for running elections. Police in New York City have not found any suspects from Saturday night's mass shooting at a nightclub. 3 people were killed and 9 others were wounded. Now city officials say they think the shooting was linked to gangs, and they're moving to stop any potential violent retaliation.
So those 5 stories right at you. So the first one was dealing with the meeting at the White House. The thing that has changed is that other European countries are joining Zelensky to meet with Trump, because if you remember last time, they almost got into a shouting match over the fact that Zelensky was not obsequious to Trump, like begging for help. He's just like, no, this is to your benefit to help us. Like if he takes us, he's going to run after the rest of Europe.
He's going to come out through, and it will behoove as they're doing, it behoove the rest of Europe to join in on this meeting. I did this on the Mail Me in My Minute, and quickly, but it's so amazing because he has no plan. So I think that the flip side to this is calling bluff. They're like, okay, we're going to sit down. This is what plan you have. The emperor has no clothes. President Pumpy Poopy Pants. That's too bad.
Yeah, and the second story was that it really is a genocide. How about that? There is actual leaked tape from military officials in Israel just saying that for every Israeli who died, they're going to kill 50. Yeah, and there were the mass protests. It should be noted that there is actual unrest in Israel, anti-government protests. So at least the people there are as upset about Netanyahu as we are about Trump. I mean, it truly is bad.
Listen, I just want to know about all of those Gaza pros. Oh, we don't know. I always pick at them because all election season long, we don't know her stance. She's not supporting.
Yeah,
Trump,
it was all bullshit.
Because Trump doesn't give a rat's ass what happens to Gaza. He wants to turn the Gaza Strip into a golf course and a resort.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Sidebar. I'm looking at my face, and I'm just looking how much thinner my face looks without so much facial hair. I'm like, wow, I look skinty. I like this.
Yeah. Okay. So the third story was the occupation of Washington, also known as the Revenge of Big Balls. The guy who got carjacked, the 19-year-old Doge person, went by the name Big Balls online. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay, so
Revenge of Big Balls.
So let me also tell you that this is not going well for the White House.
No,
it's not going well for us. And I know, being a former DC resident, let me tell you something, guys. The circumference of DC is only 60 miles. So if you have 6,400 law enforcement, including FBI, Special Police, DC PD, and National Guard when there is no problem.
Right. You're looking for problems.
Well, not only that, these people, this is millions of dollars a day.
Yeah, and they're calling in troops now from other states' National Guards.
Red ones.
Yeah, basically. And one other statistic that came to light after this was that DC per capita has the highest number of police officers per capita for
30
in the United States.
You know, I do know that number, brother.
Yeah,
I do. It's 3,300 police officers. So for every citizen, there are 8.
And like even in the case of the carjacking of Big Balls, there was a police officer less than 2 blocks away when he called. You know, like they arrived immediately. There was no like 5-minute wait or anything. They were on it. Like, and they caught the people.
They caught the people. And they were teenagers.
So,
they were teenagers. How would you like to be the parents of the motherfucker that caused the occupation of DC? You gonna stay on restriction. Your life is over. Like you caused a whole.
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
That should not be.
The kids who beat him up were like 15 and 16. Yeah,
and hats off. I need somebody to start a GoFundMe for that. For hats off for beating his ass. Give me that information. I'm gonna say like when they support their right wing people, I'm gonna start. Hey, GoFundMe. We're gonna support.
That's a really good idea, actually. You know, we need.
Let me get on D. I can find it. DC family.
Get on Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Like he got a whole bunch of money for that shit. He fucking killed people. You know.
Yep. We're gonna find these youngins and we're gonna thank them for doing this. Anybody has any information about the youngins that did this, we're going to support you like they do with their bad actors. We're going to support you in your bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? You might still be in juvie. We're going to get you out. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. You're going to have some money from us when you get out.
Then the last one was yet another stunt Trump was trying to put into place to distract people about mail-in ballots. He's trying to say that he wants to make mail-in voting illegal, even though the federal government has no jurisdiction over what states do. It's true. This is one of the reasons why when I said I don't believe that any of our national elections are ever, rigged, is because it literally is about 1,000 different elections. Every state sets different standards, but all of them are usually offline. I don't think any of them transmit them online, so you can't transmit them that way. All of them have paper trails. All of them are done individually, and the president doesn't have any jurisdiction over any of that shit. That's just what it is. And maybe it shouldn't be that way. I'm not saying that it should be that way, but that it is that way.
And but this is that way just in case we get a fool in the White House like this. This is why this is on that. And also, let me tell y'all, probably people something else. Let me tell you something. Republicans vote by mail.
They do a lot more because they're older.
A lot more because they're older. Why is he continuing? They want to cut Medicaid. They want to cut. Your people use this. All your poor white trash, and I said it. All your poor white trash in West Virginia. People, and I hate to tell y'all, Medicaid and Medicare and Obamacare is the same goddamn thing. So, so I don't want to hear this bullshit. Yeah. I mean, this is a shit show.
It is. All right, so I got a couple more, unless we have some comments. I didn't know if we.
Well, we have some hellos. We have some hellos from the people. CC2. How are you, my friend? It's so good to see you on this Monday afternoon. I hope you're having a fantastic day at work. Thank you for being. Hello, Mr. Mix. Good to see you. All righty.
All right, so I got a couple stories from What a Day. which is another podcast I listen to.
Love
Why would the
her.
State Department just announced that they're halting visitor visas for all Gazans coming here for medical aid? Why would some of these kids, for example, who are coming to hospitals for treatment be a threat?
Great question from Margaret Brennan, host of CBS's Face the Nation Sunday. Secretary of State Marco Rubio must have a reasonable answer, right?
Well, first of all, it's not just kids. It's a bunch of adults that are accompanying them. Second, we had outreach from multiple congressional offices asking questions about it. And so we're going to reevaluate how those visas are being granted, not just to the children, but how those visas are being granted to the people who are accompanying them.
I guess we'll see how long it takes for these visas spurred by medical emergencies to be evaluated. The State Department's pause came down Saturday, just a day after conservative activist Laura Loomer questioned them. That is, she posted a slew of racist and Islamophobic tweets calling the kids' medical flights a national security threat and saying, quote, "We are not the world's hospital."
It's up to you and me to show them that in Texas, our knees do not bend. In fact, thanks to everyone who has joined this fight, we were able to make more than $1 million donation to the House Democratic Caucus, the Black Caucus, the Mexican American Caucus, and we are going to continue to fight, to raise, to organize, to register, to mobilize.
That's former Texas Democratic Congressman Beto O'Rourke rallying a crowd of protesters at the Texas State Capitol Saturday. He's talking about money his political group raised for the Texas House Democratic Caucus after 50 of its members left the state to prevent their fellow Republican legislators from redrawing the state's electoral maps to get more congressional seats in the 2026 midterms. Well, O'Rourke's fundraising didn't go over too well with Texas Judge Megan Fahey. On Saturday, she expanded a restraining order against O'Rourke originally issued by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. It officially barred him and his group from sending money to what she called unexcused Texas legislators. The Texas Dems have been hanging out in blue states since early August. They get fined $500 for each day they fail to attend the legislative session. In a statement last week, the House Democratic Caucus said its members plan to return to their home state ahead of today's hearing, but each member has their own timeline, according to CBS News. That means the redistricting measure could finally pass if enough of them return to restore the quorum.
Which is another thing that's not going well. So they're still trying to do this. So let me tell you what we are. Let me give you the inverse of this. It takes a whole hell of a lot to raise millions of dollars in Texas for blue causes. So put that in your little thing and put it in. And then, so they're not understanding other states exist. States like California that had a whole bunch of red seats that are now going to go away. States like New York that,
especially New York,
New York did it so they wanted things to be fair for Republican citizens. But guess what the governor's now going to do? She's going to take that away, and that's 19 to 25 seats.
Yeah, it was pretty bad because they redistrict New York right before the presidential election, and they credited that with about 5 seats for Republicans.
Yeah,
and it should be noted that the majority they have is less than 5 seats.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct, and that's why Kathy Hochul will not win re-election.
Yeah,
because they are blaming her for everything. And I don't know if that's
that's not their fault. I mean, they chose this. It was bipartisan. People thought it was better to be fair than to win. But
now let me tell you something. Now we're now seeing that it's not. It's better to have it like it is. And so the other story here, Malcolm, speaking of Laura Loomer, she was under oath the other day.
Well,
and this bitch just outed. So she is in this lawsuit. Who is suing her? Let's say a major network.
Okay.
A major. It's CBS, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So no, it's HBO. Thank you. Take the
okay.
It's HBO because the lawsuit is involving what's his face? What's the white guy name? He used to date Superhead. Anyway, so it involves HBO. So she is under the out of the blue. She says, under oath, everybody in the Trump administration tells me that, what's his name from South Carolina? Lady G, Graham,
Oh, yes.
is gay. She says that under oath.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what she's saying. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with anything. So she just throws bombs out there. So
Okay.
now she's affecting U.S. policy. So again, I ask you to the Gaza Bros, you don't think Vice President Harris would let them over here to get medical treatment? And I'm going to continue to fuck with you about this, because now you're
I
not
agree.
saying
This is
anything.
one. To me, those are the people I'm most upset with. Honestly,
Yes.
the ones who either refuse to vote or voted third party or some shit like that. And like, what's up. You're just trying to be different. You're trying to be better than. You want to have the moral high ground under something. Like fucking politics doesn't always make you feel good. It's like you do what's necessary to further our interests.
Correct.
And like if you want to advocate for Palestinians, like you raise money, you get them over here, like that's something that you can do as a citizen, is to actually get, raise money to get aid to the people who are there. But like, I don't know, they just want to be like better than their fellow progressive people. Like
And it yet again shitted on them. Good luck.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the next few clips are from a podcast I listen to. They're reading some stories from the news and just like shitting around. So we'll see how it goes. I just happened to listen to it. So this one, I don't even remember what stories they are, but I got 4 of them. So here we go.
Eyewitness News. Houston pastor convicted in $3.6 million fraud case returns to megachurch after prison release. And everybody's, dude, welcome back. He's like Norm from Cheers when he comes back. The story, we're so glad to have our pastor back. What does he have to do? He wire frauded people. And enough to get put in prison for. Wire fraud, that's rich person crime. Most of the time, you don't go to jail for it. He made full restitution, which means he had over $3.6 million laying around, liquid. I pay it back. You can throw me in the clink for a minute. I'll come out, and then the rest of these gullible dipshits will embrace me. And then I'm going to make more money. I'm going to come back, and they'll be, sure, you're back on the payroll. What kind of moral leader do you look to if this guy is your guy? Who's our big moral community leader? Oh, this guy's he's a convicted felon, though. He can be president or pastor.
I'm willing to forgive people if they do that, or at least I can't forgive anybody for a crime that they didn't commit against me. But what I'm saying is I'm willing to say, okay, there was a debt. You did a thing. Now you're done. And we've all decided as a country that we've hired a person who will look at you and say, you got to do these things because this is your life penance for doing it. You robbed a bank. Now you got to spend 10 years in jail. At the end of that, that should be it. That's the contract. You paid your debt. But at a certain point, you got to be, he's in there for stealing money. And then he got released from stealing money. And you're going to be, that's cool. You want to sit in this room with a bunch of money? We should be, hey, you did your thing. But at a certain point, you got to be like, that stuff that you did, we're not going to put you in front of that anymore.
I do feel like there's a special category that people ask to be put in, which is a category of people who are in positions of power and authority.
Sure.
And I feel like if you abuse your power and authority, you don't get you do your penance, and that's fine, but you don't get a do-over as a new leader in power and authority. Sure. If I'm a cop and I go out and I beat the shit out of a bunch of people and I go to jail for it, I should not be able to go be a cop again, right? Because I abused my position of power and authority. I did my time, cool, but you can't be a cop anymore, right? I feel like there's a special category of people who have to work really hard to raise their hand and say, let me have this power, this authority, this position of trust in society. That's not your average guy. So most people aren't that. But you don't get to do those pieces. You don't get to work in those fields anymore.
Sure.
I do think we should set up a trusted officials category. And if you fuck that up, you can't be a trusted official anymore because we don't trust you.
I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, the idea of forgiveness. Feels like when some time has passed, people feel like, well, he spent this person got out of jail and went right back to the job that he was, convicted for. But let's say they also just decided to wait 10 years and say, okay, so he spent 10 years doing something else. Let's bring him back I don't understand how or why anything has changed, even if you have now demonstrated this 10 years of being a upstanding person. This thing that you did is now further in your past, understandably. To me, I always felt like the only reason that people are more willing to forgive is that it is less salient in their mind in that moment. Like the raw feelings have just subsided.
I mean, I got a bet on, somebody comes and fucks up the presidency. And then not 10 years later, 4 years later, when everything is on tape, you've elected another president, right? You've elected somebody else because you said this guy is such a fuck up. But for whatever reason, this guy runs again. And yeah, for the most part, we all get collective amnesia.
Oh,
and now, right, and now even just Americans in general, he was reelected. So, and now everybody is in an uproar. Oh my God, I cannot. And I say, and I always yell at the computer or the TV or whatever. Are you fucking insane? Why are you upset?
Yeah.
This is stupid. And you know what? And the crime is going to progress for these people. The crime is going to become different. And if the crime is going to progress into something else, you know what I'm saying? Because a criminal, if you pseudo get away with it, because if you had the $4 million laying around, that means he stole way more than 0.9. Yes.
That's true, right? That's true.
Yeah, he paid full. There was no payment plan. He didn't put the shit on layaway.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. One of the things that has, thinking about if I put it into the realm of politics and Trump, is I feel that, one of the reasons Trump won this time around, for some people who are low information voters, was the idea of inflation and prices and people's uncertainty about the economy. And let's be real, a lot of that was manufactured, people just talking down stuff. Some of it was a reality, post-pandemic, shifting, jobs hadn't really recovered, and so it was obviously things were getting better, but now clearly Trump is really stressing the economy. It's actually doing a lot better than a lot of people have expected. Like, people expected, particularly the stock market, to react much more negatively, like it did initially with the first announcement of the tariffs, but even with some of the chaos that's going on in his administration and with everything, like, it's surprisingly robust. That's not going to last forever. They're just,
and it's no thanks to him.
It's no thanks to him. It's something to do with, like, they don't believe him. Even the people in business, the people in the stock market, and not only that, like, some of the economy is just being held up by 7 companies. Someone said this, like, at the
it's about 10. It's about 10.
But there are 7. They call them the Magnificent 7. But it could be 10 as well. Those more 3. But obviously, the S&P 500 is a index of the top 500 companies in the U.S.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
7 of those companies make up more than a third of the value of the S&P 500.
Right.
All of them are mostly tech stocks like Meta, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia.
They run America.
Yeah, they do. It's and it's ridiculous. And
so let me tell you, and that is but so he is undoing the thing that Joe Biden meticulously put this thing back together. Yeah. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, he has dismantled all of those pieces, we had all these extra oil reserves to keep gas cheap. he gave all these, these incentives for the companies, please continue hiring, please, please, please. And they're about to fall flat. We have about 90 to 180 days left of goodwill.
I think it really is going to collapse towards the end of the year, like around Christmas time.
No, it's going to be around February because Christmas spending is going to come in.
Yeah,
it's not going to be as much as it was, and so around March. Now, so what we're not, because he doesn't want us to know, is the job market is terrible. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The job market is terrible. So if you have a job, please keep it.
Yeah. They said not only that, like one of the things that you can think about is when you get into the nitty gritty of the numbers, the only reason we have a sort of increase in jobs right now is because of two things. We're building data centers to power these AI companies, and old people are needing healthcare. Those two sectors, nurses and construction of data centers.
But let me tell you about the construction data. I live not 0.9 less than that, because 0.5, let's say half a mile. I live a half a mile from a new Microsoft data center.
Yeah.
You want to know what the problem is with that? The problem.
What I heard is that it causes huge spikes in electricity costs.
And guess who doesn't have a good grid? Georgia.
Yeah.
And guess what else?
Mm.
The construction has slowed down.
Yeah.
Because the people they need are afraid to go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, and you can see it. At first, it was a quarter, then it was a half done, right? And it's kind of fizzled at a half.
Right.
Now I'm going to take a picture of it. There's a sign at the job site looking for experienced construction workers.
Yeah.
Because they're just not there. So what's holding them up is a promise from months ago, but it's not going to last.
The funny thing is that we were also talking about some of the job numbers. One of the more interesting job numbers that came out was that recent college graduates, those under the age of 25 or younger who just recently graduated from college within the past year, those people tend to be the most sought after in the job market. And they have a higher unemployment rate than the general population. And one of the reasons that people think that is because of people experimenting with automation, either ChatGPT or, like whatever, trying to increase the efficiency of people who already work there, or instead of firing people, they're just slowing down their hiring, and one of the pivots that people are making is toward trade unions and things like construction. Like, stupid as that sounds, like it might actually be a smart thing. Like, if you're looking to make money, investing in a college education isn't what it used to be. Like, it costs more than ever, and you're not guaranteed a job when you get out. As crazy as it may sound, like getting into the trades might be financially more.
Yeah, but that's dumbing that. That's just what Trump's what he wants to dumb down.
I know, but like sometimes people are just trying to make money, make a living.
I understand that, but I'm going to tell you,
it sucks. But
yes, please don't stop going to school, because I need a good doctor and a good dentist.
This is true. That healthcare, like I said, is still one of the most booming industries. Healthcare is exempt from that.
But I need a lot of shit. The other day I needed graphic artists, and you know what I'm saying? Like, lots
AI
of shit.
can do that for you. Don't worry about it.
It could not. I tried. I had to spend my $100. But
I know what you mean. Yeah,
but it's one of those things that we absolutely.
Yes,
and hopefully, just in general, before we move on, just in general, I kind of hope I hope we fix whatever this is.
Right.
Just because, and we will. And I tell people,
so.
Elizabeth Greg, how are you so short? We lived through Jim Crow. We lived through slavery. We lived through the Great Depression. We lived through the great, what was it? Not the swine flu in the early 1900s. The plague, whatever that plague was. Yeah, whatever that plague was. Sorry, I'm so dumb today. But, we will. And now what's going to look like on the other side, I can't tell you.
Right.
But I can tell you that a generation will come to their senses. And they will see that it's not worth the thing. And that's the whole thing about it. We always, I spent the whole show Saturday talking about FAFO. But behind that joke of FAFO, fuck around and find out, is millions of people finding out. And through that, it's like, okay, this is not cool. Because in just Americans in general, I'm done. Once you give them something and you take it back, we hate it. So and that's it. And we found out that he is not giving us a bigger, better deal. It's a wrap for him. Go on.
Yeah, next. I think so too. Yes. Let's go to the next one. It's from the same podcast. Here we go.
This story comes from Huffington Post. Elon Musk amplifies bizarre claim that women are built to be traded.
Even though if at some points he seems like he's fighting with the current administration, Elon Musk is a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I want you to read out loud, Tom, the thing he said.
Elon Musk not only retweeted this, but also I want to read his reply to it. So this is what he retweeted. Somebody said, Dr. Insensitive, by the way, said, insightful. Women are built to be traded to another tribe or captured and slide seamlessly into their new culture. That keeps them safe, even though they are physically weak.
Jesus Christ.
20 years after they are captured, they are the matriarchs who enforce that culture. That is why women conform to the dominant culture and thereby amplify that culture. In my opinion, that is why Western women raised in anti-white culture are now amplifying anti-white culture, even though they are white. They think that keeps them safe, and they are correct, but only in the long term, they will be forced to remember they are white. Better they are reminded of that by white men, because the alternative is not so gentle. This manages to be, and then Elon Musk said, they've been programmed to do so by their teachers and the media.
That's what this guy's responding to.
So that manages to be hatefully misogynist and hatefully racist.
Yeah, it really does dip into both jugs pretty easily.
There's no controversy that's hatefully racist and misogynist.
Somehow these people have convinced themselves that America at some point was anti-white. That's the best thing to me.
Right now.
You're like, dude, are you fucking high? Wait, point to the doll where it fucking hurts you or whatever. Because you're like, I want to see the time in history where America was anti-white. For a second, where was it anti-white? And they'll be like, Obama. And you'll be like, holy shit, are you
out of here? They think that the world right now is anti-white.
Yeah.
They believe there is an increasing number of people who believe that white men are under attack.
Sure.
And it's like, well,
of course.
Like, no, heterodoxy is under attack because shit. And, white male hegemony is being actually propped up by all major systems of institutional power.
Exactly.
Like, what are you talking
about? Point to the part where they have lost the tiniest sliver of power. On occasion, does a woman win a Senate seat? Yeah.
I think that's like part of the argument I think that they might make. Like a lot of this, I really do think, what I really think is that a lot of this stems from a tremendous amount of sexual and relational frustration that men have.
Yes.
I think it boils down to that for the most part.
I think you're probably not wrong.
I really believe that what really happened is that for most of American history, women have been so economically and institutionally disenfranchised that the only way for women to stay safe and be economically safe was for them to find a man to take care of them. We built that system intentionally to make sure that women relied on men. When we broke that system, now all of a sudden women are like, well, what value do you add?
Yeah,
and a huge number of dudes who are like, none, and I'm mad about it.
And when you read that again and you think about how women have been treated in our culture, how well does it match what they're suggesting?
Right.
It's like part of this culture, there's a lot of pick-me women out there who will stand and scream about traditional relationships, trad wife stuff, talk about taking away their own right to vote.
It's crazy.
No, they will do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I belong in the home. You shouldn't listen to me because I don't have an opinion. I shouldn't, et cetera, et cetera. Read this tweet again and think about it in that.
Yeah. And I don't know if I showed you this. I put this in the VIP room. This is a real headline, not an Onion headline. This woman.
Women shouldn't hold office, says GOP woman not running for office. I don't know if I would vote for any people. Go back. I don't know if I would vote for any female, said State Senate hopeful Meryl Briggs, the daughter of GOP Rep Andy Briggs.
Yeah, she's.
I'm not going to say anything after that. I just wanted to make sure I read it.
Yeah, so this woman basically is, it's a common trope even amongst GOP women to be anti-woman and to say,
Okay.
I don't think women.
You're baiting me into this. You are just. I'm going to take the bite. Let me sit up. I'm going to take. The and so that went along well until he was like, okay, well, he's not moved by that. I'm going to try this. Okay. So this bitch is running for office. Okay. Oh, I just want to get this right.
She's running for office, and I think previously she said women should not run for office and women should not vote. Like she's publicly said these things in the past, and now is running for office. And I think this is in Phoenix, Arizona.
So help me. Would she not vote for herself? You are smarter than I. I tell anybody who would ever listen.
So here's her compromise. Her compromise is that, only married women should be able to vote, and they vote as a household, together. That's how women should vote. The single women should not be able to vote.
All the single ladies. It is 3:42. It is 18 minutes towards the end of this show. I'm just gonna hang out here.
Okay. You want to move on? That's just.
Wait, no. It's not. I'm just kidding. I do want. So now you see how that works. But at least she has the balls to say it out loud. Yeah. Now the hidden. And I'm gonna get some shit for this, but like the hidden agenda of like the black church, because you still have hundreds of thousands of churches in the black community, that don't allow black women to preach and they can't wear pants and all kinds of foolishness. Right. So if you ever look around like, oh, I wonder why there's no President Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Well, there's not. We're going to be a President Harris or this. The patriarchy of America. No matter what we say, okay, because I know liberal women who hate other women. They hate other women.
How so? Like what? What's one of the examples of how they express that hatred?
Oh gosh, oh my goodness, you let a woman come in with a new hairdo, new dress. Oh, this bitch thinks she cute.
Oh yeah. You
know what I mean? Oh, look at her, this bitch. Oh, or she marries well.
Right.
She's a whore. I knew she was a whore. She probably was sucking his dick. Hold on for a second. She probably was sucking his dick for the longest time, and she's a whore.
Yeah, I've definitely.
I was talking to my assistant, and I don't want to. I am not a misogynist, and I believe in the equal equality of the sexes. But we were riding in the car somewhere. My assistant says, women hate each other. I was like, oh, no way. I'm all like, no, that's stupid. And then I thought about it. Mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws don't get along. Mother and daughters don't get along for the most. Because my mother called my sister a lazy tramp one. And I was like, Mom, that's your daughter. Oh, that bitch lazy. She ain't. She ain't about that life. Exactly. Mother, she ain't about that life. That bitch lazy.
I do feel that the patriarchy hits women as well as men. I don't know why. And I see it a lot.
And so that explains like the Beyonce hate.
It does. I was gonna say one.
This and this thing she does.
I was gonna say one of the other Beyonce hate things that I think doesn't I don't know if it doesn't go unsaid when I get to that.
Mhm.
It also ties into colorism. I think a lot of times people just feel like a lot of her fame and attention is because she's light skinned. And
That's another one. Not the fact that the
Yeah.
bitch wake up at 5 and go to bed at 12. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, not the fact that she, you know,
yeah,
raises
if you
3
look at-
kids and yeah.
yeah, if you look at the actual effort, you know, to be a performer, whatever, you know, I do feel like she's like a Michael Jackson type.
But I think
Yeah.
about, I mean, you can even go to women who are just phenomenal at their craft.
Yeah.
Viola Davis, you know, the internal dark woman hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember I was telling a female friend of mine, oh my God, I love the Woman King. You know, remember
Yeah.
the movie, The Woman King? And I tell my female friend, I was like, oh, it's so empowering. She's like, that bitch looking like running around here looking like a dyke in a gorilla suit. I'm like, but
Yeah.
you're the first one to say, go sister, soul sister. What happened to that?
Yeah, it was interesting. I love Viola Davis, by the way, and I
Yes.
recently listened to audio version of her book, which everyone should get the audio version. She won an Emmy for that. That's how she got EGOT status. And I was like, oh, or she won a Grammy for reading the book. And the book itself is also amazing. But one of the things that she says in it is, you know, there's no doubt that she and Zendaya are not going to get the same roles. You know, as you know, colorism is a real thing. However, you know, when she was doing How to Get Away with Murder, they made it a point to make her a sexually open character, because this is something that she was saying that dark-skinned characters do not get. They're not sexual beings the way that light-skinned women are in television and movies. And yeah, I think I wasn't a huge fan of How to Get Away with Murder, but she was.
Ooh, we're gonna fight. Ooh, stop the press.
I watched
production
it.
team, stop.
I didn't say I didn't hate it. I didn't say I hate it. I thought some of the plot points were a little crazy. That's all. I just unbelievable. I was not believing most.
But that is the good part of TV. That is, I always tell people like you. What
But I
happened?
definitely loved her in it. Yes, and I loved yeah, I
that
loved
the walk alone.
Oh, I
should
know.
win her. With the purse, but she gets the purse so hard.
Oh, trust me, I get it.
So, but you know, and tune in this weekend, 1 p.m. Saturday. We're going to be talking about, Malcolm, something that you brought up earlier. So, I have a question for you. A question that you posed to me in a sidebar. I'm going to give it to you in public.
Okay.
Is a feminine behavior the same as masculine behavior? Remember we had that conversation?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it the same? Yeah. Is it the same? Is it on like feminine men don't necessarily have the same coming out process,
right?
As naturally masculine men may have that.
Yeah, I think because of the patriarchy, feminine men, whether they be straight or gay, are living under threat, social threat, maybe even physical threat. And so as a masculine gay man, I felt like my experience as a man is different than, say, a feminine man.
Right. You know what brought this up again? I'm sorry. What brought this up again? My sister and I have the most we do work, but we have the most interesting conversation. And he brought up Todd Chrisley today. And he says to me, you know, from what I understand, I don't think he's a homosexual. I said, okay, go on. And he says, you know, he was raised by a black woman, and he's kind of taking on the traits of the black women he was raised by.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all I could say. But then that brought me back to us having the conversation the other day,
right,
which was really interesting. And tune in Saturday. I prepared something, for that to talk about that. But patriarchy, people don't realize it shows up in many different ways. And I tell people all the time, listen, I didn't necessarily experience it until I started dating in the South.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Greg, what do you mean? Light skin and a deep voice in the South is the key to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And you have been telling me that for decades. And I didn't live in the South. I did not. I was like, oh, come on. People still on that? You're like, fuck yeah. And so when I actually retired and came back to the South, I was shocked that in the 20s, in 2000s, that this would be going down like that. That my skin color and the baritone of my voice gave me some type of weird privilege.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily know how to feel about that. But
yeah, it is, because when you are living with a privilege, you don't see it until you see your life through the eyes of someone who doesn't have it. It's just like fish in water. Like
it's right. It was just something that was like,
yeah,
and not to be funny, but I came down and my dad's card immediately filled up, and I went through the pickings and all this stuff, and it was just like really, really interesting.
Yeah,
that these people don't give a fuck who I am. I could be
the
killer.
don't.
I could be the fucking killer.
Yep. Okay, let me see. I've got another one. I don't know what it's about, but we'll see. Here we go.
The story from Huffington Post. Tim Cook slammed for disgusting gift-giving meeting with Trump. The Apple CEO presented the president with a unique piece of glass held by 24-karat gold during a celebratory event Wednesday in the Oval Office. I think it's important about this story is to see all of the tech industry bend the knee.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's the most important piece.
Yeah.
They are afraid. These are people who are supposed to be technocratic elites. They should be immune in many ways. I mean, Apple is something like $1 trillion company, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, but I don't think I am. I think they're $1 trillion company, and yet they're bending the knee. Not good, man.
No, we're in a weird spot right now where there's a bunch of, and this is exactly what Trump wants. And these people know exactly how to manipulate him, right?
Yeah.
They come in, they bend the knee, they say to him, oh, Mr. Trump, you're the best ever, blah, blah, blah. And then he immediately just does whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
He has always envisioned himself as sort of a mafia don. Right?
Yeah.
As like a mafia guy. You come in, you kiss the
Stop
ring,
on
you
your
tell me,
intuition.
I'm funny, but not funny that way, and then sit down, and then I'll give you something. Once you show me the proper
Sorry
respect,
about this.
Right.
now I'm willing to tell you, okay, well, you don't need to worry about the VIG this
Take
week.
it
Right.
down.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about it this week. I'll take care of that for you. I know that guy's bothering. I'll take care of it for you.
I can't
Fine, and go get yourself an
Is it
Italian
my
sausage
internet?
sandwich from the. But seriously, like, that's what he wants to be. He wants to be that guy. And so now he's got that kind of power, and every single powerful person has to come and beg him,
can't hear you.
please help me. Give me clemency.
Yeah. And think about, too, what this means about the corrupting force of nearly infinite money. So what I mean by that is if you start playing with numbers in the billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions,
Hear me?
right? Those numbers stop making
I can't
sense
hear you.
in all the rational ways that most people think about money, power,
It's so
and the valuation
frozen.
of a company, right? They start doing weird things. The money doesn't scale properly. It starts to get really, really weird. And just all you have to do is you'll have to download the calculator.
Take it down.
Because your
Let's
calculator on your
just-
iPhone won't actually do
sure,
this.
sure.
But like, start playing with things like, start with a very, very large number that's in the tens of or hundreds of billions,
I'll
and
take it
start
down.
playing with annualized rates of return, and then start like looking at that on a per
Say
diem
again?
basis, and start thinking about how that money multiplies upon
Just
itself.
let it play
right?
out.
And if you use money for what it is, which is a stand-in
It's
for
frozen
power,
on my end.
these are unbelievably powerful people, and yet they bend the knee. Why? Because they want more of that power. They're unwilling to be just unbelievably rich. They need to be that next level of unbelievably
Sorry
rich.
about this,
And
guys.
part of it is a little forgivable. The system requires it. What I mean by that is like Tim
It's
Cook,
not playing
if he
on my
doesn't
end.
do all the things to raise shareholder value,
He's
he'll
out.
just be fired.
He's out.
And they'll just get somebody else to do it. So it almost doesn't matter who Tim Cook is. Tim Cook is at some point too, because the system requires you to perform in these ways, and you literally cannot perform in other ways because you have a legal fiduciary responsibility to do these things. Like they'll just get a new Tim Cook.
This is one of those things though. When I see this, I'm like, there's so many different companies that have lost my business.
Yeah. One's Google, they've bent the knee.
I'm
One's
sorry.
Apple,
Is it
they've
playing
bent
on
the knee.
your end?
You're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still playing. But we talked about this before. We'll see on the playback whether it played or not. But it was in a different story about them denying whether or not they were going to have a meeting about the Epstein problem. And Tim Cook was standing there with the someone asked him about Epstein while he was presenting this piece of glass. I don't know what it was, but a little gold trinket.
We saw it. Yeah, he said they looked like a dick.
But I think it's not necessarily an indictment of Tim Cook or Apple, because every single tech person has bent the knee to the Trump administration. And in a sense, this is one of the few things that Trump really likes being as president, is someone who people have to bargain with. In fact, honestly, I think that's the whole reason he did the tariffs, were just so that he could, stick it to people. Like, he just likes to see that big dick, I guess.
Well,
in a metaphorical sense. Because, little dick people like to be the big dick person.
What did that woman call him Saturday?
What was it, Kinkle McTaco Tits?
Kinkle McTaco Tits. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. It's crazy. I think I'm sitting here wondering what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
My earphones went dead. I don't know. They still say green. I don't know. Let me try one.
All right. And let's see. I got your clip, by the way. So we're about to go off air. Do we have time to do Patreon? Or are we doing that? Or
no, I don't. Actually,
okay.
Sorry.
I'll never know if I'm going to post the link or not. I posted it this time, but I guess our viewers know.
Yeah, sorry. We kind of hit the miss on Mondays because it's Monday. I'm sorry. Let me know my work day, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, so let's play your clip before we go.
Honey, I am straighter than a pair of chopsticks laying flat on a kitchen table. Honey, I am straighter than the posture of a military soldier. Honey, I am so straight, I have never even seen a man before, okay? I don't know what a man looks like, tastes like, or feels like, or smells like. Honey, I am straighter than the number one. I have had several women in my life. Several, okay? And we've had so much, intercourse, we've had so much of it. Oh my God. Honey, I've been with so many women, honey. Roses are red. I love women. If the kitty cat's wet, then I'm going swimming. Honey, I don't know what a twink is. Honey, the only twink I know is the little cake with the icing in the middle. Honey, if I was a homosexual, I would be out and proud, but that's just not my life. That's not my tea, okay? You can't clock me, sis. I'm too straight for you gays. Get away from me, you bottom. You have nothing that I want. Oh, look, there's a woman right now. Yes, honey. Scrumdiddlyumptious. Yum, 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 making my mouth water. My mouth is watering. My mouth is watering. My mouth is watering. My God. You see what women make me do? Got me acting up in this bitch.
Yeah, he was definitely in the closet as a kid. I was going to say.
Let me tell you something. That just kills me each and every time. I played that before. I just, whenever I need a laugh, I just go to it. It's just my go-to. I just like, he is hilarious.
Intercourse so many times.
I think the whole thing is when that dude said, "I'm the straighter than number one." It's like, oh my God. So thank you guys for tuning in as you do each and every Monday. Malcolm and I sincerely appreciate that. The crowd's to tune in, tell a friend, pass it on, make a comment. You guys listen, because you're probably at work. So I know you just listening.
Yes.
Because I noticed on this hour they comment way less because you're just listening. But the crowd is huge, so they're probably at work.
Yes.
I can think how much.
Come back tomorrow for the swag suite. I'll be on here on Wednesday at 7. The Diggler Digest on Thursday at 7. The Saturday sit down Saturday at 1 p.m. And of course, Devon be same channel at Sunday at 5. So
5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna do something about my schedule next week so I can do Patreon. I don't know what else.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will catch you guys later. Bye bye.